How's it going, Raider Nation? It's JT coming at you with another episode of the Raider Cast, your podcast for everything silver and black. Today is the very first episode of the State of the Nation. I will be asking you guys every Friday to give me questions that you guys have about the Raiders, about really anything Raiders related or football related or anything like that, and I will answer them. I will pick the answers. I will take them and I will answer them in the show every Friday from now on. This is a new show I want to do. I want to have a nice way to interact with you guys, answer your questions, answer anything really honestly you want to ask me about anything. So I'm excited. This should be fun. I hope you guys enjoy this type of video. And let's get into it with the first question from Drew at DrewXVZ. He asked, will Tay leave? I forgot the E, but that's okay. I believe that Tay is staying. There's no reason for Devontae to leave. There's no way for us to move him without, severely crippling our, cap space and stuff like that. I think it's a $16 million hit per year if he's cut or traded. There's really no way to move on from him. So no matter how he really feels about, Josh McDaniels, about Carr leaving, about us moving on from Carr and stuff like that, he kind of has to deal with it because he's not going anywhere. If he wants to sit out, that'll just make him look like not a great teammate at all, and will probably make me not like him. So, but I believe that he stays. I don't see why he wouldn't. He liked something on Twitter that said he's making generational money, is closer to his family, and is playing for his childhood team. So there's still other advantages of being a Raider other than Carr, although he has stated multiple times now that he, as in Carr, is the reason why he's even a Raider. But I feel like Carr leaving is not going to affect him and his decision in the offseason that much. The next question is from Raiders Tank Season. He asks, biggest what if of the Raiders season? For me, the biggest just turning point is actually very early on in the year, and that is the Cardinals game. That is probably the biggest what if. I feel like if we win that game, we've proven to ourselves that we are good, especially after that very rough first week of games. Versus the Chargers, 3 interceptions from Carr, came down to the wire. Still, our defense played moderately okay considering that Carr threw 3 interceptions. But if we go into that Cardinals game at home and demolish the Cardinals, who were a playoff game last year, and sure, they were out of J.J. Watt, but they still had, most of their team together. Obviously, we know what happens now. They are not a playoff team. They suck. But if we're able to absolutely demolish the Cardinals, we were up 20-0 at halftime. That should have ended up being a 30-plus point win, or at least a score 30-plus. And our defense looked good. We had, a pick, a lot of sacks from Crosby that game. And we don't go over overtime. And I think that if we don't, since we win by a lot, we don't go over overtime. I don't think Renfrow gets his concussion. And I think that also caused the whole Tay, Devontae Adams, and Renfrow go together thing on the Chiefs game on Monday Night Football. And we win that game too. We now have won, I don't know if we win the Titans game, but we win 3 out of the first 5 games. Only losses to the Chargers and the Titans. Beat the Chiefs, beat the Broncos, beat the Cardinals going into the bye week. And we have the Texans, the Saints, the Colts, who are all looking rough on the horizon. I feel like as a team, we feel really good going into that bye week. And we have a completely different outlook. And even if what happens the rest of the season, we lose to Jeff Saturday, we lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, we get blown out by the Saints. Those 2 wins against the Chiefs and the Cardinals, we are now 8 and we would be 8-6, looking to get into the playoffs. And honestly, if we win against the Cardinals and the Chiefs, that mentally proves to us that we can win those games, and we don't have those collapses against the Jaguars, against the Colts, Rams, Steelers. We're able to mentally better play those games and end up winning those games. So I think the Cardinals game is a catalyst for the mentality of the rest of the season, because we have that in the back of our mind that every time we get a lead, we blow it, and it's come true every time. So I think if we win that game, it proves to us that we can win those games and stuff like that, and the season goes a completely different route than how it's gone so far. Moving on to the final question, the final response. Actually, technically 2 questions, but they both relate to the same idea, and that is from Nate at Hobbs6, and then Joshua at AKLUCTUNUANT. I don't know how to say that. I want to say Aculactuant. I have no idea what that says. But basically, what is your dream scenario for this offseason is what Joshua asked. And then what Nate asked is, what's your ideal plan/scenario for the Raiders going forward? And honestly, I have a three-step thing that I want to happen. Number 1, build that defense. Secondary looked trash, especially towards the end of the season when we lost Yassine. Hobbs has been out for games. Morik has not developed how we wanted him to. Harmon's been and Amik have been really the only consistent players in the secondary, which is not what we want. The linebacker core is completely destroyed at this point. All 3 of our starters that started the season as our linebackers, our first 3 linebackers, are either on IR or gone from the team. Jaylen Brown, Denzel Perryman, Divine Diablo. Divine Diablo is the only starter from the beginning of the season that's guaranteed to be on the squad next season. So that's something to look at. We do have some bright spots. Tyler Hall, Andrew Billings should most likely come back. Max Crosby, of fucking course. Nate Hobbs will be back, which I think, he should be fine next season. We have Chandler Jones coming back, who is also on IR now. But defensive tackle looking very rough. Bilal Nichols, not good, really. Jerry Tillery, although the signing worked for a few weeks, he's disappeared. But hopefully with Andrew Billings back, he should be better, especially since we don't have to play him against the run and keep him fresh for pass rushing downs, which is pretty much his specialty at this point. He's a specialty defensive tackle pass rusher, which is not great. And then we have our rookies, which haven't been playing a lot, but they've showed flashes of being able to, do what they're supposed to do. Neil Farrell being good against the run. Matthew Butler getting half a sack. Just a lot of issues on the defensive side of the ball. There's a lot of question marks. But we do have a lot of draft picks, so that's a good thing. We also need to shore up the O-line. The middle of the O-line looks very rough. Parham should go back to right guard. We need a left guard, really, for the future. Right tackle is a bit iffy as well. Do we roll with Luminor? Do we have Thayer Munford going forward? So I guess the second thing is shore up the O-line. You want to make sure we have a solid O-line. And then the final thing is trade Derek Carr. We need to move on from him, whether cut or trade, but I prefer trade, and honestly there's some good candidates out there that we could, and he should get us a first round pick as well. Despite what people are saying, he should definitely get us a first round pick. That's just a fact. If Russell Wilson can go for a first round pick plus a bunch of other stuff that they had to sell to get Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, same thing. If those 2 QBs can get that, I think Carr can also get at least a first round pick. I don't think they'll get the same, pile of picks and some players that Russell Wilson and Matthew Stafford got, but I do believe that we can at least get a first round pick and maybe some later round picks as well for him, especially to a QB team like the Colts, Panthers, Saints, Jets, Buccaneers. There's a whole slew of teams that he could go to that are technically in the playoff hunt, especially in the NFC South. Really, the whole NFC South could use Derek Carr. Like I said, the Colts, the Texans could use him. The Titans, the Dolphins, if Tua is not good, concussion wise. There's a lot of the Patriots. I mean, there's a lot of options. And I think he should definitely fetch a first round pick. That's just a fact. But that's really all I got to say. That's a 3-step plan. Number 1, build up the defense through the draft and the free agency. Number 2, shore up the O-line in the draft and free agency. Number 3, trade Derek Carr. And then I guess finally is get another quarterback, preferably not Tom Brady. At this point, I don't know where we're going to go with that. We got to see how Stidham plays, and it's really too early to say who I want because I don't know yet. We don't know how the whole offseason is going to go. That'll definitely be a discussion a little bit later down the road, probably towards February for sure. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's the first of the State of the Nation. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you stayed to this point, please like and subscribe. That would be a huge help. I'm creating unfiltered silver and black content all the time. I'm creating of Las Vegas Vipers content going forward. As that season gets closer to starting and as more news comes out about the Vipers, I will be making more videos about them. I hope you guys had an absolutely wonderful day. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And peace out, Raider Nation.